Hi everyone, my name is Janelle and you're watching Everyday Jane, where I make videos on simple living as well as delicious homemade food. And I'm really excited to share with you today, not from my kitchen, from my living room, a quick garden tour. So this year, my husband and I moved into our first house, and with that, we had our very first garden, and it's been so much fun, especially during this time, to be able to walk out to your own backyard, look at what you've grown, nurture it, and then be able to cook with it. And you know, that's exactly what I'm after, is how I can use this food in my kitchen, because I love to cook and I love to make simple, delicious food. So it really was a fit for us to grow some produce in our backyard. And it really is just a small garden, just a few things. What I'm going to show you today is, yes, a little bit of a tour, but mostly a few snippets of what we've been using from the garden in the kitchen. Hopefully you get some ideas and hope you like this video. So let's jump right in. Here I am leaving my side door in my cute little small home. Here's Henry and our tomato toast. We'll talk more about that later. Got a few blooms in the backyard, which were a lovely surprise. One of the things that I asked my husband to make this year in terms of raised beds was a specific herb bed for me. So most of our herbs are right in here. One of my favorite ways to preserve herbs is to make herb salt. So here are all my herbs laid out. I've washed them and they are drying on these kitchen towels. We've got oregano, some lemon thyme, rosemary, as well as some parsley and sage, and that's what's gonna go in one of our herb salts, which is going to be a Tuscan blend. And then on the other kitchen towel, you'll see a bunch of basil. We grew 3 different kinds: a Thai basil, a sweet basil, and an Italian basil. Here we have our food processor, and I'm blitzing up our Italian Tuscan herb blend in a food processor with some salt and some garlic. Once that's all done, I lay it on a parchment lined sheet tray and spread it out really thinly. And what we want to do is dry it out here. So you can either put it in your oven on the lowest temperature possible and just let it dehydrate for a while, or leave it in room temperature for a few days. I did a combination of both. And here I am putting my really yummy salts in the pantry. We've already used so much of this. So here's just a wide view of our raised bed gardens here. We really loved doing raised beds. It was the easiest way for us to get as much garden space in as possible. And you'll notice we've got a lot of tomatoes. So we grew a few varieties. The first was some beefsteak tomatoes, and then we have also some cherry tomatoes and Brutus Magna tomatoes. Yes, Brutus Magna is a name of a tomato. Here's one of our Brutus Magnas, quite large. That's my husband's hand. One of the things that I loved eating the most during the summer was tomato toasts. It was a frequent lunch of ours, and I would make homemade sourdough bread and just put a little bit of mayonnaise on, and then slices of tomato with some flaky salt, and it is actually just truly perfection in my eyes. We also made a few tomato salads. You can see we've got some of our green tomatoes here. Yes, oh yeah, we also grew some green tomatoes with some balsamic vinegar and some basil. Another one of my absolute favorite tomato dishes, especially for brunch. Eggs in some stewed tomatoes. So we've got tomatoes and onions and garlic, and we cook them down a little bit, and then we're just poaching some eggs. And as you can see, I used my yummy herb salt, sprinkled it on top, and served with some bread and fresh basil. And it is truly just such a simple but tasty brunch. Just a quick shout out here to our raised beds. It was really easy to make because we had those concrete, blocks in the corner, and it was really, really easy. And that way we can just use really good quality soil as well and just fill it up rather than digging too much. We grew some lettuce and kale, and that was really fun because those are the types of things we can throw in pasta salads, like you can see here. And we could also throw it in some soups to just really make it hearty and nourishing. And we really loved having that in our garden this year too. There's something so satisfying about picking tomatoes, green beans, any vegetables from your garden. I really love doing it. We had a lot of green beans this year. We did bush beans. We might try pole beans next year, but we really love them. We grew a lot and we use them in a number of different ways. We really, really liked putting green beans in things like curries and soups as well. We even quickly steamed some and then threw it in a freezer bag so that we could use it later. All right, so moving on to zucchini. This is probably one of our most successful vegetables this year. I loved it. We made, I think, out of a few bushes, we got about 25 zucchini. I put them in focaccia, which is so tasty, as well as a number of other things. There's so much you can do with zucchini, including making a yummy chocolate zucchini bread. So just a quick shout out here to our butternut squash. We got a few butternut squash this year, maybe about 10 to 12, and we've used some already in, roast vegetable mixes, but we are planning to make a ton of butternut squash soup and freeze them so that we can eat them in the chillier fall and winter months. So I'm really excited about that. So that is it for our quick garden tour for you and our raised beds. I really recommend raised beds for anybody who's just new at gardening and you want to give it a shot. Maybe start with one raised bed, and I really think that you'll enjoy it because I never thought that I'd be a gardening kind of person, and I really have grown to love it. So with that said, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you're having a great fall so far and that you're keeping well and keeping safe. I'm really enjoying talking to you like this, even just outside of my kitchen. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please consider subscribing and liking this video for more to come. I'll see you soon.